Okay.
Um, in 2017, 8 out of 10 Filipinos are Catholics, or about 100 million Filipinos. Despite the influence of Catholicism in the Philippines, there is a clear contradiction between theory and practice. In fact, in 2012, the state passed a law requiring them to supply condoms and birth control pills, as well as provide sex education in schools. Duterte has even vowed to expand the program. Hundreds of thousands of women have abortions each year. Many people also live together without getting married. Others, in unhappy marriages, deeply resent the church for preventing divorce. That's why we're here, to go a little deeper on the contradictions that exist for a Filipino Catholic in the Philippines. We have invited Jan Silan. He's the feast builder of Feast Salcedo, which is part of the Light of Jesus community built by Brother Bo Sanchez. He is also a proud husband and a father of two beautiful children. Um, and to jumpstart this podcast, I just want to ask you, as a family of Catholics, I see you and your family almost every session when I was attending Feast Salcedo. I want to ask, like, how were you raised? And what's your earliest memory of being a Catholic? And how did that define you as a person?
Well, before I answer the question, I just want to thank first, of course, Kai and Roxy for having me today. Thank you for the honor and privilege. When I read your questions, it was my pleasure to answer them, and my greatest pressure as well. So thank you for even considering me in the show. But as I was reading your questions, I was really delighted and in awe of your interest in getting deeper in the social issues that we have. And I was raised as a Catholic, uh, wanting Jollibee after Mass. That's it. So I would just is that an okay answer? So I was just really looking forward for what will happen after we do this obligation. So
Yeah.
I'm like that kind of person, and I grew up like that. I mean, as a kid, as I was raised up, I mean, going to mass, praying the rosary at 6 p.m. My mom would shout at us for us to go to the rosary, and we would drag ourselves going there in that her room, in that prayer room, because everybody needed to be there, or else my mom will get mad at us. So that was a good start. That was my start, actually. And then going to mass every 9 a.m. But I was really looking forward for the malls and Jollibees after what we will do and eat. But it's something that I would look forward to when I was younger, because my dad, his work was really he went out. I mean, he is out of town Monday to Friday. I won't really see him, but it was his commitment to be with us on a Sunday. And mostly that I was really looking forward. Whatever we will do, basta my dad is there with us on that Sunday. So yeah, that's us how I was raised as a Catholic, at least for the start. Okay, medyo ano yan, it's a journey, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's super interesting. And thank you. And this is why I really thought of you, Jan, for this podcast, because you're super honest. No, it's true, because I think I also have a similar like raising. I remember praying the rosary every day with my grandma, and I actually learned the Hail Holy Queen faster than everybody else in my class. So I remember that, like, because of my grandma, I just learned the rosary faster. That was super
That's
interesting.
right.
So when did the shift happen for you? Like, when did it transition from an obligation into something that meant a lot more for you?
My mom wanted me to become a priest. That was her want in her heart. I mean, she would pray about it. Not only pray about it, that pray out loud that I will hear it. That's kind of, Lord, I pray that Jan will become a priest. That Jan will become a priest. And you know what? Looking back right now, I think what I'm doing right now is a combination of my mom's desire and my desire. because I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
have a family, and she wanted me to become a priest, and that kind of combination, I think, is what I'm doing right now, as a feast builder of this small feast in Feast Salcedo. But I think her prayer jump started me, because of that desire. She wanted me to serve at the altar boys because she feels that I'm closer to becoming a priest if I'm an altar boy. But she didn't know that when I'm in the altar, I would see a lot, you know, the beauty of
Mm.
God's creation in the altar. The girls, that's it. I would love to go there. I would love to be in a main server, because I would like, to be pa cute, and
Mhm.
to look good and to impress in the altar using God's platform para magpa-impress. And then that was my start. As I was serving the Lord, the
Mm-hmm.
discipline that I have, and then eventually those roots as an altar boy of service, following my leader, being on time. I think those criterias,
Mhm.
and also learning from priests and learning the sacraments and learning all of this. But again, it was really later on that I was really able to apply everything that I learned. But the roots was there, the shift was there, at least when I served the Lord. Then attending the mass, it gave me reason to go to mass. It gave me reason to appreciate the mass even more. As when you have good priests, at least, that would be
Yes.
willing to guide you, willing to listen to you, willing to allow you to be a child, and not get mad because you're a child. Kasi minsan,
Mm-hmm.
di ba, when you're a kid, you play around, you are noisy. But I'm very privileged, actually very grateful, that the priests that I grew up with, they loved me to the point na when I was 16, 17, 18, when I was starting to get to know the drinking cycle of my life. The start, they would, okay, Jan, you want to drink? Okay, let's drink inside my office. So just don't. Is this recorded? Anyway, so and he would, kasi marami sila eh,
Mhm.
series of priests. They would really be patient with me in every
Mm-hmm.
question, in every sexual question that I was having, in every sin that I was committing. I think if we
Mm-hmm.
have people like that and to imitate, and just a guide for
Mhm.
us, I think that was a shift. And I told myself, I want to be someone like this for the younger
Mm-hmm.
kids someday. So
Mm.
I hope I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, I think you are. Honestly, like, I mean, at least personally, my own personal experience with you and your talks, John, I think it was really helpful. Most especially like when, young working professional, honestly, it helped. And since you already mentioned sex in general, for me, like, personally, being raised Catholic has shaped a lot of my beliefs, especially in how I dealt with my relationships, most especially in love and sex, right? So I want to ask you, like, how has it shaped your romantic relationships being a Catholic?
Mm. Sex. uh, I really believe, I'm married now. Because before, sex was bad.
Yes.
Sex is something that it's like, it's dirty, it's messy, it's evil, it's dark, but you preserve it to your wife. Parang ako, parang, ha? It's evil, it's dark, and then you preserve it for somebody you love. Parang there was a disconnect in
Yeah.
the talk of sex. And right now, being married for about magti 3 years na on Feb, I really believe right now that sex is a gift. Sex is a gift from the Lord. But Kai and Roxy, every gift kasi that you have used on the wrong time, it's still wrong. For example, I have a gift in, for example, giving talks. But sometimes I don't really, for example, if I just, go to the mall and give talks in the mall, it's the wrong time. It's the wrong place and it's the wrong time. There's a certain place for the gift that I have. Or whatever gift, the singing, dancing, there's a certain place and time for whatever gift that you have. And I really believe in a more deeper way, sex is a gift. And that gift is you. you not only giving fluids, but you giving your heart and giving your mind, giving your whole self to that certain person. And hopefully that certain person will also give not only his fluid, but also his whole heart and his whole mind. And again, that union is a beautiful thing. That union
Mm-hmm.
is a gift. That's why when I talk about the young people about sex, it's not something dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Sex is a gift. Your thing there is a gift. Your
Mm-hmm.
feelings is a gift because sex is meant to be enjoyed. That's
Mm-hmm.
why in the past 3 years, I have four already. I have four children already. The other one, unfortunately, we had a miscarriage last year. That's why we have three big loving boys. Uh,
All
that's
boys.
why, yeah. Again, I use that gift now.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that the Lord, ayun pala yan, that desire, that thing that you have, that wantness to give your all. That
Mm-hmm.
is, I think, it's God's gift to us all. But again, any gift used in the wrong time, it's still wrong. So, yeah, yun lang yung point ko na.
So when you were growing up, you mentioned earlier that it was viewed as dirty and as something that yeah, wasn't a gift basically. How did that play into, like, did that translate into feelings of guilt as well growing up? Like, how did that influence, your mentality and your behavior towards it growing up?
When Roxy, kasi when you're a teenager, you're not really human. You're something else. You feel a lot of things. I mean, you're a hormone inside a body. You feel something else. Diba? Hair is starting to grow in my face. Things started to feel in my body, and I was trying to be curious as well. I was curious. Ano ba to? What am I feeling?
Mm-hmm.
And then of course I belong to an all boys school where,
Mm-hmm.
where you talk easily about those stuff, about the sex stuff, about masturbation, about premarital sex, about porn. And eventually those are the first two, the first um the introduction of sex, at least for me. And then this is I invite, if there are parents listening, because I ask all of this to my mom.
Oh wow.
Mom,
Ah.
there is I have a CD player, right? A CD player, and then there's a hole there at the middle. And then I told my friends, guys, this is the way you hold the CD player. You hold it in the middle and you hold it there on the tip. And then when I hold it like this, my friend said, Jan, that's bastos. Bastos ka. That's dirty. That's sexual. Ako, I was like, what's sexual about this one? I was putting my finger inside a hole. That was dirty. Then I asked my mom, is this dirty? And then my mom said, bastos ka. I was like, what am I trying to do? Then if the questions are not answered in the family,
Mm-hmm.
the child will ask questions somewhere else,
Exactly.
friends. And then right now it's more difficult because the internet is there. You can Google anything actually about anything. At least for me, uh, I want to thank, because one of the gifts of being Catholic is uh, the sacrament of confession, the sacrament of reconciliation, where you go every week. That's why when I was still building until right now, pre-pandemic, I really would confess once a week. I would go to confession once a week, once a week, and I would go there because it's free.
Mm-hmm.
And then usually Catholics are criticized. Magko-confess ka, and then you're gonna do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, but I'm gonna go again. Hindi ba ibig sabihin when you take a bath and then you're not gonna take a bath anymore because you're gonna be dirty again. No, you go and take a bath again so that you'll be. I mean, your feeling before you go to sleep would be good. I think
Mm-hmm.
again, a gift of the sacrament of confession is one of the things that I really treasure, and until right now, actually, there's still some things in my heart that is not right. There's still
Mm-hmm.
things in my heart that I think, and when I think of this thing, or when I think of this thought, I think, sometimes I'm not loving my wife even more, or I'm committing a sin towards my wife even in my head. So
Mm-hmm.
when those things come in my head, I have to confess it. I have to
Mm-hmm.
let it out in my system, because I don't want it to be. I don't want to ruin this beautiful gift of family that the Lord has given me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, I'm sorry, my answers are long. So there.
It's
So
Fine.
okay.
Hey.
and I'm not sure if it's right. So
No, nothing is wrong or right here, Dad. Like really, I think it's about like expressing our opinions about certain topics, which you already touched a little bit. Like I remember my friends questioning my belief as well as being a Catholic, because I also drink a lot. I drink a lot. I sometimes curse. I also have, some dirty thoughts, etc. So and they ask me like, but you're a Catholic, why are you doing that? So there are a lot of misconceptions, right, as being a Catholic. So I guess I was wondering, like, what do you think are the common misconceptions about being a good Catholic in your perspective?
they think Catholics are uh, the good guys, the good boys, which is should be.
Mhm.
But again, Catholic means universal, means all
Mhm.
accepting, means all encompassing. And one of the misconceptions of a Catholic is that we are very strict and straightforward, and we sometimes people think that only being Catholic will be the only way to heaven, and that's very wrong. That's very wrong, because I mean, you heard of a lot of bishops or priests having scandals, having left and right scandals here and there. But see, the foundation is not really the priests. It's not really the bishops. It's not even the Pope. It's
Mm-hmm.
again, it's Jesus. That's why it will stay for the long run. No matter how many people will criticize it, no matter how many groups will downplay being Catholic, it will stay, because again, it will not depend on a bishop. It will not even depend on Pope. It's the foundation is Jesus. Now, having said that, as Catholics, as a Catholic person, at least in here in the Philippines, again, the call for Catholics is for us to be all accepting, not
Mm-hmm.
judgmental, not pinpointing who your friends will be,
Mhm.
that you will accept. But again, you have to spread that love, that foundation of love that you've been learning, that you've been receiving in the Holy Eucharist. Dapat kasi may action tayo after the mass, or after the feast, or after every gathering. The action should be love. The action should be you being more patient, being more
Mm-hmm.
understanding. You For example, if there's a certain person who doesn't believe what you believe,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
dapat okay lang yun. Kahit hindi kayo align, dapat okay lang yan. It should be okay. Because again, you love. And when you love, you don't expect people to love you back. That's not love. Di ba? Because when you love, you just love. So again, I want to call all Catholics maybe that are listening to us to remember who we are, to love. You can Google it. What Catholic is. It's universal. It's all encompassing. It's all accepting, and that's who we are. So
Yeah. No, I think that's also true. I think it's about being open and accepting of everyone. I remember, as I mentioned, I remember messaging Bo Sanchez about, so I studied in an all girls school. So exploring girl to girl relationships is very common. So I actually messaged Bo Sanchez about it, asking what is really the view of the Catholic Church on same sex relationships. And I guess that's also my question to you. Like, we have in general, right, in the Philippines, we have a widely accepted LGBT community in the Philippines, but homosexual marriages are not yet permitted by church. What is your take on the clear contradiction of both tolerance and resistance amongst Filipinos on LGBT?
First, before I answer, just want to remind everybody I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know some rules and regulations about it. I'm just somebody who listens the news and
Mhm.
somebody that have a lot of friends that belongs to the LGBT community, and somebody who does not. Somebody who wants to know more
Mhm.
about that field, because ano parang LGBT tas may plus 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 pa, and then
Yeah.
if I'm there, I want to know what else is there. What ano bang hugot mo? Where are you coming from? What is your story? And then knowing them, you know what? They're really good people. I've, at the feast, we have servants that I love, and
Mhm.
servants that I'm taking care of right now that belongs to that community, and they find home at the feast. Why? Because I'm not there to be their judge. I'm not there to change them. I'm not there to even invite them to change. I mean, they bring their boyfriends or they bring their girlfriends there, and I try to love them and understand them the best way that I can. And then changing them, judging them, it's not really up to me. That's it. So having said that, regarding marriages, I think, when I was trying to reflect on this, we not even the I think you should ask Pope Francis, but I'm not sure if he can approve it. I'm not sure if in his powers he can approve same-sex marriages. I'm not sure if he can, because again, the role of the church is really to build more families. Yun
Mhm.
naman na sana we have a male and a female that we meet together, and then they build their own families. And that's actually, I mean, para so that many more people will get to know Christ. So that's it. So to build more families. And I think if ganon, and then my adoption and all of those stuff, again, I'm not really, I'm not an expert in those realm. I think it's beyond the power of the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, I also believe that um, government and systems, and we should do something about it. I think there should be a law about it, because uh, partners belong to the LGBT. If somebody, for example, you have properties and both died, I mean, insurances,
Yeah.
no, you cannot get the money, and may mga process kang hindi, you cannot enjoy
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
being part of the LGBT community. I think we have to study it more. And I love what Pope said, that he was controversial last time, but he was on point when he said that, you know what, I LGBT they belong to a family, and that family is the Catholic Church. They belong to a family. So, ito naman, may mga nag-interpret naman nung sinabi niya, oh, we belong daw to a family, dapat kasala kami. We deserve marriages, again. So again, ano siya, again, the Pope cannot approve that, I think, but I have to call Pope Francis mamaya. But again, there should be a system that would cater and that would love our brothers and sisters that belongs to the community of LGBT. So there.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're trying to say is that even though the church might not be able to um, make this happen, that there should be a solution as well done by the state.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Um, I mean, and the Constitution in the Philippines does also state that church and state are separated, but obviously, like in practice, I think religion plays such a pivotal role in our politics, and we definitely see the impact in that as well. Um, so I think specific to the Philippines, because church and state are so intertwined, um,
Yeah.
it would be hard for the state of the Philippines to probably create something separate without it being influenced by the church. So like my question for you would be, do you think this is healthy for our country, and how can this country maintain a healthy balance between faith and politics? I know you're not a lawyer, but I just wanted to get your take on that.
Ano yan eh, when I listen to the news and when I listen to the bishops and when I listen to the president, they have all their side. They have their all they have their points. They have their actually good points, some bad points. But upon studying, upon researching a little about church and state, it's really more of priest not being allowed to endorse a candidate. Priests are not allowed to endorse somebody from the pulpit and then this is the person you have to vote. Or the priest, the church is not even allowed to post, outside the church who are the people that you should not be voting. And these are the only people you should be voting. I love the approach of Cardinal Tagle. I mean, that's why he's cardinal, right? I love his approach. His approach is really, the facts are there. The news is there. It's up to you to decide. It's up to you to decide. Usually, it's really hot or mainit na mainit yan pagka election. If there's an election time, what side will you be? What side will you be? And again, sometimes priests will comment about politics not as a priest. They will comment as a Filipino, as a Filipino-born person in the side of state. It's really crucial because you cannot church and state. I mean, who is the church? We are the church. Whatever church you belong to, you are the church. And who's the state? We are the state. So we belong to the church and we belong to the state. Why is it when priests try to comment about politics, of course dapat there's a separation. But why is it, when the government comments about the church, it seems like walang break. That's why I really believe at the end of the day, the president is not the savior of the world. At the end of the day, whatever laws will be passed, it will be passed. It's a matter of time. Whatever law, it will be passed. The social issues one, the divorce, abortion, same sex. It's a matter of time. I mean, you see that trend around the world.
Yeah.
It will be passed. And the church, what can we do? We can just nag about it. We can just be no, we're against it. But at the end of the day, we're not approvers of the law. We're not the one passing the law. We will just nag, and then at the end of the day, it's really up to the people. It's really up to them. There's the law, but it's up to you. If it's part of your values, if you're the direction of your family, it's really up to you. Now the RH bill was passed. Okay, so it's up to you. Do you want to buy condoms for your children? It's up to you. So at the end of the day, it's the decision of the person that will determine his or her life. So yeah.
So
Layo na sagot ko.
No, but I guess in summary, if I understand correctly, like you're saying that the separation of church and state is hard to apply specifically in the Philippines, and because of this circumstance, people should decide for themselves what is right for them. That's how I understood it. Was I accurate or?
Yes, and then you go back to your values. Ano bang, what are your values? Yes, you will decide for your own life. Yun naman yun eh. You have your own decisions. And the church is there. Hopefully, you'll be reminded of the values that we learned as we were growing up. And again, at the end of the day, it's your choice. It's our choice actually.
So do you think though that as a country we do have a healthy balance between faith and politics? Like, do you think that the nagging you described earlier is something that is the right also of the Catholic Church to express, or do you think that this should be a little bit more separate?
It's healthy. I think it's healthy and it's not. It's healthy because again, you have to need a check and balance. By the way, now there's a
Mm-hmm.
certain there's a rule. Now, is it moral? So
Mm-hmm.
the church will be there. For example, okay, let's go for abortion. Okay, then the church will be okay. But is it moral?
Mm-hmm.
Is it healthy? How about the psychological effects for a woman for women that will
Mm-hmm.
go through abortion? So the church will be there to para ano lang parang maging conscience mo. Again, check and
Mm-hmm.
balance. But I think the problem is we're so passionate that we don't
Mm-hmm.
listen to each other.
Mm-hmm.
That this is the point that I want. No, this
Mm-hmm.
is the point that I want. Nobody listens anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the conflict arises.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if we just step back a little and then we listen,
Mm-hmm.
we we see the point of the other person.
Mm-hmm.
I think we will be even more healthier. We will be healthier
Mm-hmm.
as a nation. The problem is we don't listen.
Mm-hmm.
We want our views and opinions. That's it. That
Mm-hmm.
in social media, even the smallest voice has a voice. Na
Mhm.
na 'di ba, kaya minsan when you read the comments it's very stressful because you don't know everyone has a voice to a certain topic,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it's discouraging. That's why just have to read it. After 1 minute you stop reading it, eh, kasi
Mm-hmm.
nakaka-stress din.
Yes.
So ayun, yun
Mm-hmm.
lang. So there,
Okay.
nasagot ko ba?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, you also touched on a lot of controversial topics, right? Like divorce and abortion. And um, it, I think you've answered it pretty well in a sense that at the end of the day, it's everybody's choice, which I also 100% agree. I guess what I want to ask is how do we advise someone to personally decide on what beliefs are toxic and harmful and which are not? Because I mean, personally too, like a lot of my friends also ask me like, is this accepted by the Catholic Church? They ask me because I am a practicing Catholic, but in general, at the end of the day, right, it is your decision if it's good or not and which are harmful or not. But how do you advise these people, most especially you because you're a public figure? How do you advise someone to decide on what beliefs are toxic and are harmful?
I- my basic rule is to love God above all else,
Mm-hmm.
and to love your neighbor as yourself, or love your neighbor as I have loved you. Parang ganon. So just love your neighbor. And how can I best love people? How can I best? That's
Mm.
it. How can I best love my wife? Well, I best love my wife knowing that someday I can divorce her. Well, I best love my kids knowing that someday I can just, we don't have money, let's abort them. How can I best love, uh, how can I best love? That's it. That's
Mhm.
a basic question that I always answer. And then if there's somebody who would tell me that I don't believe what you believe, Jan, that's okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. I'm not offended by it. You don't have to believe what I believe. But what I believe is that if I go in this, I think the culture, the values that the Catholic Church will teach us, I think naman, di ba, I process it in my head that it is the path that for me to receive the full life
Mm-hmm.
that Christ wants for my life. That's it. Yun, at least for me. If I go to confession, if I hear mass, if I love my neighbor as I love the Lord, if I help the poor, if I follow the lives of the saints, I think that path, I think lang for me, that will be the full life. And
Mm-hmm.
then Having said that, there will be people that will not be believing what I believe. That's okay. And I will
Mm-hmm.
not force them to believe what I'm believing. But I will love them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because full life is nothing without when you don't love.
Mm-hmm.
Full life is nothing. Okay, you go to heaven, okay, but ikaw lang mag-isa doon. You're the only person there. It's not fun. You
Mm-hmm.
bring people with you.
Mm-hmm.
You bring people. You express happiness and joy in the midst of problem. You remain faithful to the Lord in the midst of COVID, in the midst of family members getting sick or sometimes dying. You remain steadfast. You remain faithful. You remain firm. And then people will ask, Where's that coming from? It's from the Lord. And then, when my wife and I, we experienced miscarriage last year, we cried before the Lord. We cried, as in, for many days, for many weeks, we cried. Did we ask the Lord why it had to happen? Of course, we asked the Lord, Lord, why? I mean, thoughts of Lord. Mabait kami. We're good people. Yeah, we're serving you. Why do we deserve this kind of pain? And then the Lord will not answer. Yun yung mahirap eh. He will not
Yeah.
answer. But you will feel his embrace. You will feel his embrace. You will feel that he is there with you and he loves you now. Uh, I think we're able to move on, but we went there a few months, few last month, and in November 1 or
Mm-hmm.
2, we went there to
Mm-hmm.
where we laid our baby and we prayed the rosary, and my wife and I were still crying. uh Umiyak pa rin kami, and
Yeah.
before our daughter, we call it our daughter because we don't really know, we just imagine that she's a daughter kasi marami na kaming lalaki dito, so so you will not get answers, but at the end of the day, will you continue to love? Will you continue to serve, even if you don't get your answers? So there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry for what happened. I'm sure that that wasn't or still isn't easy, and um,
Thank
yeah,
you.
I think even after a couple of months, you would still definitely feel the pain and the emotion coming from that experience. So
Yeah.
thanks for sharing that. You.
I wasn't planning to.
But yeah, thanks. We appreciate your openness and willingness to share. You also mentioned earlier that people do come to you with different beliefs and you treat them with love. So, let's say that someone believes in premarital sex and that that's really their yeah, they don't see anything that there's anything wrong with it. So, while maintaining that respect and distance from that person's belief, um if that person asks like, how can I reconcile my belief about premarital sex which doesn't 100% align with what the church says? So, obviously the church is against it. So how do I, let's say it's me, for example, believe, or how do I still um become okay with that belief while at the same time, um even though I know that the church is against it? Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Thank you for that wonderful question, Roxy. First of all, if there are people committing that, I would really love to know their background, their
Mm-hmm.
story. Baka naman may hugot bakit why they're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Or the culture that I know is not their culture. Maybe they were raised up with that kind of culture, with that kind of belief, and then I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna enforce my belief on them. No, I will never do that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'll do is that, for example, if I see couples having premarital sex, I would really ask them, why not get married?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Why not? I mean, di ba parang it's there's more joy than after having sex. You don't get worried na, "Stoy, buntis ka ba? You let me know, positive ba? Hala, hindi ka you didn't have your period this week, hala." And then, hala, hindi ka, di ba, there's a certain fear when you do that. Of course, whenever you do that, you expect a consequence, a result. Whatever action that you do, there's always a result. Anything that you do, may ano yan. For every action, there's a reaction. Anyway, so I will ask, why not get married? I mean, just it. But I will ask that if we're really close already, okay? So, why not? Pakasalan mo na, pare. Diba? She's a good person. Can you see her as your wife? And then issues will start there. Why hindi pa ready kasal? He's not ready for commitment. Naks. He's not and all of the excuses of a boy, of a man, not ready for commitment, wala pang pera, there's no money, and then sometimes medyo masakit yung sagot na, I don't see the future with her. This is just for pastime.
Aray.
Those are the issues I touch. Those are the issues, inom tayo. Those are the issues that, as a man to man, let's talk about it. Really? Why? Sinasayang nyo lang yung oras ng bawat isa. You're just wasting each other's time. So why not think about it, reflect on it, and then 8 years na kayo together. Hindi pa kayo kasal. Di ba? Kami ni Angela, 2 years. Alam ko na siya na eh. So just after being with her for 2 years, I really know that she was the one that that I imagine being with for the rest of my life. So bakit ko pa pinatagal? But again, there's a deeper issue. Why? So I would love to know that. And the only way I can know that is when I love the person, when I accept the person, when I don't judge the person. Kasi minsan, when you meet a super Catholic, a super Catholic, somebody, oh, that's bad, without even knowing the story, without even knowing the background. And you're sinning also. Why? Because you're judgmental. Pre-marital sex and being judgmental are in the same level. They're both sins. So I don't want that. I want to get to know you more. Why not? Sige nga. Oh, and then, eventually, ito yung nangyayari. Eventually, they will either get married or they will break up. But both is a gift. But yun lang naman, di ba? Kasi mas masarap yung sex pag kayo na, pag marital sex, hindi pre-marital. Di ba? Mas masarap siya actually. Mas walang guilt involved. Why not gawin mo yan na may ganito ka na, may sing-sing ka na. And then make a lot of babies like that, cute babies na ganyan. So but again, I want to thank really the Lord because, He really knows and plans. And I just follow. And whenever I look at that, that's why that picture is there. My bed is here. So whenever I wake up, that's the first thing I'll see. So I'm going to tell myself, I will not do anything that will ruin this.
This is your why.
That's my why. And this is my work. This is where I work. I've been working for the past 9 months, by the way. So this is my desk. But I know my why first. And you cannot get that when you're just having premarital sex. Sayang. Sana nasa isang bahay na kayo. Sana family. Sana may blessing the Lord. Yun lang naman. But again, it's your choice.
Yeah. Buti na lang, Roxy, you're doing marital sex now. Okay.
Wow.
Amen.
Amen. I guess if Roxy, I didn't miss any questions, I think I would like to ask the last question for this conversation. So Roxy and I, we live in Europe, and when people ask me about religion, I say I'm a Catholic, that I'm a practicing Catholic. I try to listen to church. I still go to YouTube to listen mass and stuff. But I guess their biggest question when they ask me about being a Catholic, their question is, how do you know whether to believe in yourself or to believe on a religious authority figure? And honestly, that's hard for me to answer, because at the end of the day, what I always say is like, I don't know, I just have faith. I just have faith in something and I feel it, and I guess that's not an answer they wanted to hear. So that's, I guess, my question to you, like, how do we know actually whether to believe in myself or to believe in a religious authority figure, most especially for big decisions, right? Like, do I get married now? Di pa ako ready, pero sabi ng church pwede na eh, right? So when do we know whether to believe in ourselves or to a religious authority?
Or another example could also be that the church is anti-contraception, for example, and you also believe personally that you think contraception is okay. So when, like, how do you delineate, okay, I should probably use contraception, or I should listen to the church because they said contraception is not okay? Like, how do you make that decision between, I guess, trusting what you believe in versus what the church would recommend?
Okay. If I meet somebody like that, number one, I will not enforce any beliefs that I believe. Any religious authority, nothing. If I meet somebody like that, ano yan eh, it's like testing me and my answer, and I would just tell them, why? What do you believe? What do you believe? Is it do you have any problems with any authority figure na it might just reflecting something in your life, na something in authority that messed up your self-belief as well? Maraming stories sa mga tao about following an authoritative figure, but the Lord's invitation is always, come follow me. Hindi siya should follow me, force you to follow me, but it's always an invitation na, guys, just follow me, because I am the way, the truth, and the life. Having said that, in sabi mo New York, Nax. Sana makarating din ako dyan, no? Someday. At again, I don't know the culture, I don't know the background of the person, but what I can do is that I can love him or I can love her the way that I know best to love. And how do I know best to love? Based on what I'm following. For example, being Catholic means that I am all encompassing and I am all accepting, and I will try my very best to share that kind of love to any person that would not believe in what I believe. For example, may example kayo about contraceptions. Again, contraception is doing something and then you take something in. Ganun ba yan? Just to stop whatever. Di ba? Parang hindi ka ganun ba yan?
Well, you also
Yeah.
have condoms, for example, which aren't ingestible.
So condoms. Again, because bakit why do you want to do that? Because you don't want na mabuntis, you don't want na there would be a child, you're not ready for something. So again, there's a deeper issue why you're going to use contraception. You just want to do something without being responsible for the result. That's it. That's, I think, the basic of it. I haven't used one and I don't know one pa. So napaisip tuloy ako, napagamit ba ako? Hindi ba? So I don't know. Again, I don't know the background of the person. But again, for every person that I know, I love your last question, the last question in your email. Na you asked that what are you still unlearning right now? Maybe that's something that I can impart to somebody that would ask me some questions or about my religious authority and believing in the self. Is that what I'm still trying to unlearn right now? Is how much God loves us all, how much He would go to love us. Even if we, kasi minsan, as a human person, kapag nagmahal ka, sana mahalin ka naman pabalik kahit pa paano. Sana that person will love you back also. Kahit maliit lang, just a little bit of love back. That would satisfy me. But I cannot really fathom how somebody can love and just love, accept and just accept. And even if you reject him, he will continue to love. I don't know. Hindi ko ma-explain. I cannot even understand how that works for the Lord. And yun, isa pa yun. I just want to unlearn how wide and how long and how deep the Lord loves us. And I will not understand. Hasta ang alam ko, mahal niya ako, mahal niya si Roxy, mahal niya si Kai, and He loves everybody who's listening to us right now. That's it.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Then we can ask Roxy our other ending questions.
Yeah, at the end of the podcast, we would always like want to close off with these questions. I mean, one you already answered, but I guess we can do like a fast lightning round, whatever.
Ito pa ako mayayari eh. Sige,
Mabilis na lang,
go.
mabilis na lang.
Go.
So try to answer these questions like in one sentence or two sentences.
Okay.
So what is something you used to believe in but now have unlearned?
That Catholicism is the only way to go to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nice.
So, tama yun, diba? So, I used to believe, but it's not, diba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I so want to ask more, but then we don't
I
have
know.
time. So,
I know ako din.
So the second question, like, if you had to make a law that you would make the world a better place, what would this universal law be?
Ikulong ang judgmental. Judgmental go to jail. Judgmental jail. Something like that. So, if you're judgmental, you go for 1 hour.
Okay.
And everybody will be all accepting, right? So,
Gusto ko yun. Quiet corner. Stay in the corner.
yeah.
Okay, and I guess you already answered the last question. Like, what are you still unlearning right now? So, yeah, you are unlearning that how much God loves us all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, so amazing.
Yep.
So what did you used to believe before that you're still constantly unlearning that God, or I guess what I'm trying to understand is what was the status before, because why are you still unlearning that right now?
You have to be a good person to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I cannot again, I need to unlearn that. I mean, if God can love us to the highest of heavens, to the deepest of the oceans, I cannot understand. I need to unlearn that pa. I need to know more, Lord. Can you tell me more about that love? So ibig sabihin, if I'm Catholic or born again or Muslim or Buddhist, can you just love everybody? And how? So that's it.
Okay.
And I know He does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you used to believe that you needed to be good to be loved by Him. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh my God. I feel like I just had a one-on-one personal feast session with Jan. I'm so happy. Feeling ko na-cover lahat ng, all the months I left the Philippines. But yeah, Jan, thank you so much. I think this was, I'm personally like super happy that we invited you. I knew you were the perfect person to speak about it. Thanks for being so open and so transparent. Thanks for sharing like personal insights about your life and Angela's life and your family. We really appreciate it. Yes.
Amen. Thank you, Roxy.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
guys.
much. It
It's an
was nice to
honor to
meet
serve
you.
you. And yeah, ingat kayo dyan. There's still there's still COVID, and I really pray that to see each other very, very soon. Oh, I'm sorry. So you see, it's 6 p.m. So that means it's my hug break to one of my sons.
Oh
So
my God, so cute. Okay,
sorry,
then.
hindi ko na off yung alarm. Yeah, every 6 p.m. I hug one, and then at 6:30 I hug another, and then 7 o'clock I
Oh,
hug one.
That's the cutest.
that's so
It,
cute.
it, it needs to be in schedule, or else I'll forget it.
Exactly. It's
But
okay.
then do you hug the same one at 6, then 6:30, then 7, or is it
No,
like
no.
different order?
Different
Different
Okay.
order. Para walang
different children.
favoritism.
Oh,
So
kasi
cute.
kung hindi, if I'm not gonna put it on my schedule, I'll forget it, and then they'll go up
Ah.
mad at me. So no,
Mm,
I'm gonna in a while after this podcast.
that's cute. No, we won't take too much of your time. You need the family moment. But yes, we just want to say thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you
for
so
that.
much as well from my side.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye, Jen.
Okay.
Have a good
Bye.
day. Have a good hugging session. Bye.